Then on 22, it says repeat exercise 20, but assume the graph above is the graph of the second derivative. All right, so if you're talking about concavity and you have the second derivative, what you look for on the second derivative is where it crosses the x-axis, because those are your possible points of inflection, because that's where the second derivative equals 0, and what the y values are, like when they're positive and when they're negative, so above and below the x-axis. So looking back at your graph, now we're looking at the second derivative to discuss concavity. We're going to look at, if this is now the second derivative, A, D, and F are our possible points of inflection, because that's where the second derivative equals 0. And then it goes negative, it has negative y values to the left of A, and then between A and D it has positive y values, and then from D and F it has negative, and from F to G it has positive. Does that make sense? Okay, so second derivative was A, D, and F were where the second derivative equals 0. And the second derivative had negative y values, and then from A to B they were positive y values, and also all the way A to D they were positive. And then from D to F they were negative y values, and from F on they were positive y values. So the original function f is concave down when the second derivative is negative. It's concave up when the second derivative is positive, and then concave down, and then concave up. And then because there is a change in concavity, A, D, and F are points of inflection. Yes. If you're looking at the question is, if you're looking at the second derivative, how do you know the function is increasing? I don't think you can. You can only know about its function. You need more information. To determine where a function is increasing, you need to look at, you can look at the function itself and then just say it, which was pre-calculus. But yeah, you need to look at the first derivative. Right, so concavity can be determined by the function itself, obviously, the first derivative or the second derivative. But increasing is only the function itself or first derivative. That's a good question. Yeah, that's good. All right, do you guys want to try number 23, or do you think you have enough of this? You want to do number 23?